My name is Max McCarthy and I'm the Assistant Branch Secretary for Unison, Glasgow, Clyde and CBS branch. That's the NHS branch.
Now there's demonstrations here today. Why is that happening, Mike?
Because we're protesting against the cuts to NHS workers and NHS services.
And what kind of cuts are involved?
They're cutting staff, they're cutting health visitors, they're cutting alcohol and drug services, staff from there, they're cutting a whole service, hospital at home. That service allows people to receive care at home. Older people, prevents them going into hospital. If older people go into hospital, they tend to become more ill, they tend to lose their mobility, and it makes it harder for them to be discharged. We are cutting that service. They're cutting that service altogether. They're going to stop providing it, even though they know it makes economic sense to run it. It's economic sense because it's cheaper to treat somebody in their own home than it is to treat them in a hospital, and they're cutting that service. They're cutting treatment room staff, so people won't be able to go and get their stitches out or go and get their leg dressed, or all these simple things that keep people mobile and living in the community. They're cutting these services.
And what do you think the overall consequences are going to be to people's health?
Quite clear. The consequences will be people won't be able to access health services, and if they're not able to access health services, there'll be greater waiting lists. If the people have to go into hospital because they're cutting hospital at home, it will mean longer waiting lists for routine operations like hip operations, knee operations. This will impact on the NHS in Glasgow. It will impact on the health of the population of Glasgow.
And I've heard you speak earlier at the rally about health inequalities, life expectancy and so on. What's the situation on that?
So we've been told by experts in that field, public health experts in Glasgow, that for the first time since the 1880s, since the 19th century, for the first time ever, the population health in Glasgow is in decline. And if it's in decline now, then these cuts to services is only going to make that worse. Instead of people's health improving over the years, in Glasgow people's health is gradually declining.
And who are making these decisions? I mean, what bodies?
These decisions have been made by the Integrated Joint Board in Glasgow HSCP, the Integrated Joint Board that manages the HSCP, that oversees it.
And that's linked with council budgets?
The council, the IJB has both a budget from the council and a budget from the NHS. So the cuts, this is a cut to the NHS part of the budget, and that's what's affecting these cuts that we're talking about today. There is cuts also in relation to council, but they're not as great as the NHS. That's not to say that there hasn't previously been cuts to the council, but these cuts are greater for the NHS than they are for the council right now.
And what do you think that those on the board, the joint board, including politicians, should be doing instead of carrying out cuts?
Well, they should be saying it's unacceptable. They should be saying it's unacceptable. They should be contacting the Scottish Government and saying we need more money. They should be telling them exactly what these cuts mean. The reality is the IJB members who are voting through these cuts are given numbers on a sheet of paper, and they are not given the details behind it. I was at a meeting just last week, and they're given a sheet of paper, number of posts that will be gone. They don't know the impact. They don't know that if they cut health visiting posts, services, the universal pathway won't be able to be delivered. That service, that health visiting service, protects children, it reduces the child protection issues, and it gives children the best start in life in terms of their physical health, that enables them to grow up to be healthy individuals. And these cuts are going ahead. And the IJB members don't know that kind of detail. Mm-hmm. They don't know that kind of detail.
And finally, Mike, what's your appeal to the wider trade union movement and the public?
This is my appeal is that every trade union member in Glasgow, in Scotland, get behind this, and to the general public, they have to realise what's going on. We have to educate them because they don't know, and in years to come the NHS will be whittled away, and the general public will be asking, how did that happen? We need to be having this discussion now. We need to be standing firm. We need to be standing firm and saying no more cuts. The NHS has to be adequately and properly funded to meet the needs of the people in Glasgow and the people of Scotland. And if that means people from the trade union movement putting pressure on politicians in Scotland and in Westminster, that's what has to happen.
Thanks, Mags, and solidarity from the Scottish Socialist Party in your fight.